What's going on, everybody? It's your boy 107 here, and specifically I want to talk about the dead Spartans from Halo Infinite's campaign. I see a lot of videos, people talking about it, but I mean, aside from surface level of, oh, this is who they were, this is where they died, it doesn't really go much further into that. But I also am starting a series on my TikTok about these guys as well, but I figured it'd be great to put in some hours and make it into a YouTube video as well. So let's get started. First off, I do want to thank you guys for the reception of the last video. Let's keep her going. For the first casualty, we have Spartan Hudson Griffin, the fireteam leader of fireteam Taurus. Taurus was literally canonized from a Mega Construct set that they made back when they were still called Mega Blocks. Spartan Griffin led fireteam Taurus, which consisted of Spartans Vettel, Oshiro, and Dimka, and Griffin would lead Taurus on several operations with Blue Team post-war, including one of them being Operation Wolf, which was an operation in the book Shadows of Reach, where Fireteam Taurus was inserted among Fireteam Intrepid and I think 120 other Spartans to secure the Vieri militia's nuclear weapons to protect Blue Team as they go to secure the package. The package being Halsey's flash-cloned brain so that they can create new Cortana, or the weapon, and ensure that the created Cortana doesn't get tipped off that there's a war going on Reach by the activation of a nuclear device. Now in 2559, during the Banished Siege on Infinity, the part where we see in Halo Infinite's introductory cutscene, they would assist the Master Chief in securing Lasky before leaving in their own Pelican when the Master Chief would be encountered by Atriox. When they would land, they'd land on that specific piece of the Infinite Ring where those 3 Banished anti-aircraft guns are. They'd land in the heart of the Banished forces, which in the book, in Rubicon Protocol, is kind of called south of the conservatory near some AA guns. That's that area. This area was one of the biggest areas when it came to the battle, and they would crash their Pelican, but they would use Kovan, like Nina Kovan support, sniper support, and they would take down 2 Banished AA guns before starting to hike all the way back to the Mortal Reverie. However, before they could even start their hike back, they would experience Cortana blowing up the ring. During the chaos, Spartans Oshiro and Dimka would go missing, leaving just Vettel and Griffin to go back to the Mortal Reverie. However, Spartan Griffin would take the operational leadership role of the Unity forces at the Mortal Reverie, and they would begin their guerrilla warfare against the Banished. This was a huge, huge thing, as this ensured that UNSC operational status and complete just wholeness instead of being splintered. However, Griffin would take a small 4 Spartan team to take out Eshram when they would learn that Eshram is the new de facto leader of the Banished. Panago, Malek, and Sakar and himself wouldn't be seen again. Unfortunately, Eshram anticipated this and had ambushed them instead. All Spartans except for Griffin would be killed, and Griffin would be handed over to Chak Lok, where he would be interrogated and tortured for, I think, another 4 months. The rest of the Banished forces would lay siege on the Mortal Reverie, completely taking the Mortal Reverie, but however, for Griffin specifically, he would be ripped out of his armor alive. And for 4 months, Chak Lok would keep him prisoner and torture him and wait of the Master Chief's arrival. And sadly, he would die in John's arms. As of 2560, at the end of Halo Infinite's campaign, his status is KIA. Another unfortunate casualty of the Banished on Zeta Halo would be Spartan Benita Stone, a member of Fireteam Shadow. Also known as Shadow 3, Spartan Benita Stone was the recon specialist for Shadow Team, a team that specialized in covert operations in support of active fire teams. During the attack on the Infinity in 2559, she would escape in an escape pod onto the unoccupied part of the ring. She would experience Cortana blowing up the ring and had to fight through the dirt to catch a Bumblebee life pod before it fell through the dirt and into space, saving its occupants inside. Later on, she'd regroup with Kovan and Griffin at the UNSC Mortal Reverie and eventually go on a recon mission deep in Banished territory, learning that Eshram is the leader of the Banished during Atriox's absence. Unfortunately, that would be the mission I mentioned before, where 4 Spartans, including Griffin, would be killed and the Mortal Reverie would be lost. Stone would later invade the Forerunner tunnels under the Mortal Reverie, witnessing the Harbinger being released. She would steal a data node with Zeta Halo's defensive systems and locations, copying it and corrupting it, ensuring the Banished cannot get those locations. Stone would engage banished and scammer forces, being unlucky enough to meet Jaeger Domnai and a Bloodstar. The Bloodstar, named Gorian, would slam Stone with a ghost and dragged her towards the gravity lift before Stone broke free and pulled Gorian from the ghost. Stone would engage several banished forces, leaving them in bloody puddles before being ambushed by Jaeger Domnai. Stone would then die pleased as the data node Jaeger came for and left with was corrupted, throwing a wrench into Escherum's plans. Sadly, the next day, her close friend and teammate Nina Kovan would find her body. A month later, the Master Chief uncovered her body, the first of many he would find. Her status as of 2560 at the end of Halo Infinite's campaign is KIA. The third Spartan you'd uncover is Vedrana Makovich, also known as Mako. She was the team leader of Fireteam Windfall. Makovich enlisted as a part of the UNSC Air Force, becoming one of the most versatile and adept pilots, and was so good that she was invited to join the Spartan 4 program as the leader of Fireteam Windfall. Windfall consisted of 4 members, the only 2 being known being Mako and Malik, and only Mako actually had an armor design. Much like Noble 6, she was piloting sabers, and she was instrumental in the development of the production model. Mako would become a hero and a legend in the UNSC Air Force. However, during the fall of the Infinity, she would be escorting the ship in her saber and would engage Banshees and would have to clear the area below the ODST drop zone to allow evacuees to get out of the ship. Makovich was at the UNSC Mortal Reverie when Griffin had decided to assassinate Escherum, a plan that, if you already listened to me before, would unfortunately fail. Her teammate, Henry Malik, would join the task force and inevitably end up dead among an ambush sprung by Escherum. Later on, past the siege and the loss of the Mortal Reverie, she would meet up with Theodore Sorel. They were observing the excavation site that was just south of the Mortal Reverie. They completely and correctly deduced that what the Banished were doing here was trying to find the monitor of the installation. They took it as their mission to get inside and find that monitor before the Banished does. Unfortunately, Theodore Sorel and Makovich would be stopped. When the excavation was complete, they snuck inside, but unfortunately, as soon as they got inside, they were ambushed by Jaeger Domnai. Sorel would be injured by the attack, and Mako would encourage him to find the monitor, taking a duel with Jaeger Domnai. Unfortunately, that duel would leave her lifeless body staying there in the conservatory for the rest of the battle on the surface. 10 days later, she would be uncovered by the Master Chief, the only person to acknowledge her death. As of the Infinite campaign, her status is KIA. The final Spartan corpse that you find in the Halo Infinite campaign would be Spartan Theodore Sorel, deeper into the conservatory. Spartan Sorel was born on a planet untouched by the Human Covenant War. Instead of enlisting, he followed his beautiful passion for music. In fact, he quite excelled very well, and it exposed him to a large, wider audience, a lot further than the secluded planet that he was on. However, now he was faced with the horrors humanity had endured, and with dedication, he enlisted. Sorel was on board the UNSC Infinity upon its ambush, and he would lead his Marines to repel the Banished forces before being ordered to evacuate. Upon evacuation, his Pelican would go down deep in Banished territory and would engage Banished forces in guerrilla warfare. Being down on the ground, they would experience the ring being destroyed by Cortana, and Sorel would observe the ring repairing itself after the explosion. Later on, Sorel would meet up with the UNSC forces at the Mortal Reverie and fought the Banished when they had sieged it. Sorel would survive, and accompanied by Vedrana Makovich, they would observe the Banished dig site. Upon the completion of the dig, Sorel and Mako would make their way inside, inevitably being ambushed by Jaeger Domnai, and Sorel would be wounded by the attack. Mako would stay behind as she ordered him further into the conservatory, and he wouldn't know of her fate. And unfortunately, way further into the conservatory, like he made it, Sorel would be taken out by more Banished forces. But he wouldn't go quietly. He would take out more banished forces before being ambushed by Hyperius and Tavares. He would die, still clutching the screwdriver he used to defend himself. And just like Vrjana Makovic, 10 days later, he would be found by the Master Chief, the only person to know of his fate. Again, as of the Halo Infinite campaign, Spartan Sorel would be killed in action in 2560. Thank you guys for coming along with me on this roller coaster of emotions. These 4 characters, who are just throwaway characters, really resonated with me for just diving deeper into realization that these were just regular people. You see, Halo 4 and Halo 5 likes to put up Spartan 4s as being an unstoppable force just equal to Spartan 2s. But Halo Infinite grounds them. And this is one thing that I love about Halo Infinite and their treatment of Spartan 4s, is that they put them more on the scale of better ODSTs. These Spartans are capable, they can win fights, but over a long time of attrition and of this guerrilla warfare, their time just runs out. And these characters aren't lifeless Spartans like some Spartan 2s, being just children abducted with just a clean slate, no backstory, no past. These characters have past, these characters have backstories, and it is a one major thing that Spartan 4s are really able to excel on, especially in cases like this. Specifically for Theodore Sorel. His story resonated with me. Being a musician, he had a career, and it was a beautiful career, and he was gaining popularity. He could have been the next Kanye West. But he saw deeper, and he saw the pain and the suffering, and he decided to enlist, and he would sign his death, unfortunately. Now, I would like to remind everybody too that there are 3 other Spartans that were mentioned in the audio logs and in Rubicon Protocol. Spartan Nina Kovan, Tomas Horvath, and Berthold Vettel. These 3 Spartans are all MIA at the moment of Halo Infinite starting, and Berthold Vettel is most likely KIA, but there's no body, no corpse, he is MIA. And Horvath and Kovan are most likely alive, however, they are lost, missing. Now I'd like to remind everybody that this entire video, in timeline, in lore, had been over a time span of 6 months. From the day the Infinity was attacked to the day the Master Chief returned. And for 6 months, these Spartans could not make a foothold on Zeta Halo. And canonically, the Master Chief came back, and in a mere 24 hours, killed not only Eshram, but all of the Spartan killers in the hand of Atriox, and he did it in less than 24 hours. Now that's a testament to the Master Chief.